Adam. Hi Syahmi.
Salam. Hi IRMAN.
Excuse me. Can I have
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
How are you guys today?
I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Thank you. How about you?
Yes, I'm fine. Do you guys have taken breakfast?
No, I'm not eat today.
No, I have not taken my breakfast yet.
So me too. But do you guys have done all the assignment?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I've done all my
I
assignments.
think my assignment all done.
But do you check the latest task from Madam Amira
What?
in the Google Classroom?
We have new
Latest
task.
From Madam Amira?
Yes.
Which
Wait a minute. Let me check
Really?
out the classroom.
Yes.
we need
I
to
think
check.
We have a task.
Oh.
Yeah,
We have a task. We need to do discussion about how social media influence a personality identity.
Yeah.
So I think we need to do this
This
now
is
because we
the
have
best.
not much time and we are busy. Yes. So
But before that, do you guys know what does social media means?
I know
I
social
don't know
media
that.
is TikTok, IG,
Oh.
like that.
No, I don't think that's the answer. Let me ask Mr. Google.
Yeah. We check.
According to Google, social media are interactive technologies that facilitate the creation, sharing, and aggregation of content such as ideas, interests, and any other forms of expressions amongst virtual communities and networks. So that's social media.
oh, thank you, Adam.
Thank you. Now I know that about social media.
Yes, I think we can start our discussion. So we start our discussion. Let's go about how social media influence the personality identity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad SAYYIDIL bin Muhammad SUFIAN.
And I, Nur Muhammad Adam bin HAFIZI.
And I Muhammad Syahmi bin RAHMAT.
Today we are going to talk about how social media influence to personality identity. First of all, I want to ask you guys, do you guys have social media?
Yes, I do
Yes,
have.
I have.
I do have an X account.
I have a TikTok account.
So I also have Instagram. So we know that we all have a social media. So let's start our discussion about how social media influence to personality identity. Okay, first of all, I have been thinking a lot about how social media affect personality identity. It's kind of like a digital mirror reflecting a version of us, but it is not always accurate, right? I mean, I have seen it in myself and others. How what we post or share can start to define how we think about ourselves. What do you think, Adam?
I am totally agree on that, Iman. And it's not just about what we think, it's also about how people react to us. As an example, if a post gets a lot of likes or comments, you might love it. However, on the flip side, if you post something and there's no engagement, or you get even negative comments, that can make you second guess yourself. It's like we are constantly seeking validation from people, and that can be really exhausting. What do you think, Syahmi?
I think totally get that. I think social media has this incredible ability to turn us into performance, constantly creating and displaying the best part of our life for an audience. It almost like there is unspoken, invisible pressure to always present an idealized version of ourselves that fit society standard, whether that means looking good, being successful, appearing happy, or even portraying a picture perfect life. Over time, that carefully curated version of ourselves can begin to overshadow our authentic identity, leading to a disconnect between who we are online and who we are in reality. How about you, Adam?
That's right, Syahmi. It's like we are always asking ourselves, is this picture good enough? Will people like this? Am I living up to what other people expect of me? And that constant self-monitoring doesn't just fact the posts we put in social media, we start to seep into our perception of ourselves. We end up valuing ourselves based on likes, comments, and shares. And it can become hard to separate our online persona from who we are truly. In the long run, it can mess with our sense of self-worth and identity, making us question whether we are performing for others, for ourselves, or for themselves. What do you think, Irman?
I think you are true. You start to feel like the person you portray online is who you are, even though that's not always the case, and that disconnect can be really damaging, especially if you are constantly measuring your self-worth against this idealized version of yourself. We begin to equate of our self-worth with the number of likes, comments, and shares we receive, and we might measure ourselves against the standard we set in our online persona. This creates a pressure to maintain that idealized image, which is really fully reflective of our day-to-day realities. What do you think, Adam?
I think that is so true, Irman. We are now living in a world where a pen might be mightier than a sword, but a negative comment is the best and the mightiest of them all. I think social media, more than anything, encourages this sense of performance. It's like we are living two parallel lives, the one we show online and the one we actually live offline. The one that we actually experience, and actually, they don't even come close to matching up. I mean, I know some people who seem super confident on social media such as TikTok or Instagram. They're always posting these polished and happy moments, but when you meet them in person, they are a lot more insecure or shy, or you even call them introverts. They're almost like they have created these online personas that's so different from their real self. What's your take on this, Syahmi?
I think that created an immense amount of pressure because once someone has created and put forward the persona, that feel obligated to consistently live up to it, both online and in real life. It's become the cycle where there are always striving to maintain that image, which can be exhausting and disgusting, especially when it feels like they are not being authentic in either space, online or offline. The line between what is real, what is created begin to blur, and that's this dissonances that can be really unsettling. What do you think, Adam?
That's very true, Syahmi. It's kind of scary when you stop and think about how much of our self-image and self-worth are now deeply linked with what's happening on our screen. Whether it's social media feedback, how many likes we get, the constant comparison to others, our sense of identity, something that we used to be shaped by our experience, relationship, and personal growth, is now influenced by this visual world, and that can be linked to feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and even a loss of genuine connection to who we really are. This pressure, keep up appearance, becomes overwhelming, and the fear of falling short of that perfect online persona can make it harder to feel comfortable in our own skin. What do you think, Irman?
Yeah, I think you are right. That's what I find so harmful about it. When you are constantly thinking about how you are being perceived online, it chips away at how you feel about yourself offline. I have still noticed it with friends. They will post these confident, fun photos, but when we talk, they are always worried about what other people think about them. If they are positive enough, or they are interesting, or if they are interesting enough online, it's like their real life insecurities get masked by their online presence, but it never really goes away. Instead, it's almost like it worsens because now they are start trying to maintain this image they have created for themselves.
Yeah.
What do you think? Syahmi?
I totally agree with you. It's like people end up living these two very distinct lives. Their online persona, which is carefully curated, polished, and controlled, and their real everyday self, which might be a lot more complex, messy, and full of uncertainty. That split between the two can create the constant tension. Like you are always managing a double life, the gap between who you project yourself to be online and who you actually are in a real life can become overwhelming, generating anxiety and stress as you try to maintain both. What do you think, Adam? Or Iman?
I think it's particularly difficult for younger people, like teens and young adults, who are still in the process of figuring out who they are and what they stand for. For them, social media can create an additional layer of pressure to conform to certain ideals or expectations before they have even had a chance to explore and develop their true identity. The constant comparison, the need for validation, and the fear of not measuring up to this online standard can really take a toll on their mental health and sense of self. Do you agree, Adam?
Yes, I agree with you, Iman. They are constantly being exposed to these highlight reels of other people's life, and it's easy to fall into this trap of thinking, why doesn't my life look like that? But the actual thing is, no one's life looks exactly like that all the time. We need to learn to value authenticity over perfection. What we see on social media is only the best parts, and when you are still developing your identity, that constant comparison can really mess with your self-esteem and can lower your confidence. Do you want to say anything, Irman?
Yes, exactly. And it's not just about individuals, right? I think it also affects the way we interact with other people and how we form relationships. When you are only seeing the highlight reels of people's life, it can create unrealistic expectation for your own relationship, whether it's friendship, family, or romantic one. You might start to feel like your life is not exciting enough, or that your friendships are not as deep as the ones you see online. It's like you are constantly measuring your real life connection against this polished version of what relationship should look like. And that can make you feel disconnected or even dissatisfied with what you have. I have definitely felt that before. How about you, Syahmi?
Yeah, I totally experienced that too. It's almost impossible not to when you are constantly bombarded with this perfectly edited, careful stage photo or people smiling, living their best life. Whether they are out traveling to exotic place, attending amazing parties, celebrating big milestone, or just looking effortless, happy and successful. And it's so easy to get caught up that to feel like somehow you are falling behind or missing out on this experience everyone else seems to be having, Adam.
Yes, Syahmi, the fear of missing out or the FOMO is absolutely real, and it can be overwhelming. But it goes deeper than just feeling left out. Over time, it starts to impact the way you see yourself in comparison to others. You start to internalize these feelings, thinking things like, why is my life as exciting or picture perfect as theirs? Or am I doing something wrong because I'm not achieving the same level of success or happiness? And when these thoughts creep in, it's not just about jealousy or missing out anymore. It becomes a much bigger issue when you start to question your own value and worth. You might start measuring yourself against an unrealistic standard set by what you see online, and that can really affect your self-esteem and confidence, leaving you feeling like you are never quite enough. Irman, what's your take on this?
I agree on that. Social media makes it really easy to fall into the trap of comparison, and that can definitely affect your identity. It's hard to feel confident about who you are when you are constantly comparing yourself to this idealized version of other people's life. Over time, this comparison can affect how you perceive yourself. You may start to change aspect of your personality, appearance, or behavior to align with what you think is more acceptable or popular online. This shift can create a disconnect between who you truly are and the personal you feel pressure to project, which can confuse your sense of identity. The constant comparison and the subsequent feeling of can lead to anxiety, depression, or loneliness. You might start believing that you are not good enough simply because you seem to have what other people display online. Do you think so, Adam?
That's a good one, Irman. And I would like to add, it's crazy because we all know deep down that what we see online isn't the full picture. Everyone has their struggle and bad days, but those moments rarely make it onto social media. It's like we know we are only seeing the highlight, but it still affects us. And I think that's where the danger lies, Syahmi.
Yeah, that's really true. You can logically remind yourself that what you are seeing online is not always real. People are only sharing the highlights using filter, editing photo, and presenting a very selective version of their life. You know that on a repetition level, but even when you tell yourself all of that, it does not necessarily stop the emotional impact from hitting you. It still get to you in a way that are hard to control. I think that disconnect the gap between what you intellectually understand and what you emotionally feel is where the real danger lies. It is that internet conflict can be so harmful to how we perceive yourself and others. You know, the created content is not the full picture, but when you constantly exposed to it, it can still chip away at your self-esteem and what your sense of reality. And when the happens, it's become harder to appreciate your own life for what it is without constantly comparing it to be polished image you see online. Am I right, Adam?
Yes, Syahmi, you are absolutely right. By the way, do you guys think there is a way to get around that? How do we protect ourselves from falling into these mental traps while still staying engaged with social media? It is tough because social media is such a big part of our lives now, and it's not realistic to just stop using it entirely. So, how do we create healthier boundaries or develop a mindset that allows us enjoy social media without letting it negatively affect how we feel about ourselves? Is it about being more intentional with how we use it, or maybe following people who are more authentic? I would love to hear what you all think.
That's a tough one. I think start to be being really mindful about how we use social media, like being aware of how much time you are spending on it, and more importantly, how it makes you feel. If you are scrolling and you start to feeling down or start comparing yourself, that's probably a sign to take a break. Taking a break from social media, whether it's a few hours, a day, or even longer, can help reset your mental state. This break gives you space to refocus on real-world interaction, activities, and self-reflection without the constant barrage of others' highlight reels. If you are away from social media, it's easier to reconnect with your own identity, goals, and values. What do you think, Adam?
It's spot on, Irman. It's all about setting boundaries, maybe limiting your screen time or choosing to follow accounts that make you feel good about yourself rather than ones that make you feel inadequate. I also think that it helps to remind yourself regularly that what you see online isn't the whole story. Everyone is dealing with their own stuff, even if it doesn't look like it on their Instagram or social media, right, Syahmi?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Mindfulness is defined key in navigating the complexity of social media, being aware of how it affects your thought, emotion, and behavior is critical to maintaining a healthy relationship with it. But I also think it's really important to stay grounded in reality and remember that social media is just a small, granted slice of life. It can be incredible, engaging, even addictive, but at the end of the day, it is not the full picture. It should not be the thing that defines who you are or how you measure your work. Everyone has challenges, insecurity and struggle that are not prostrated in their post. Am I right, Adam?
That's true, Syahmi. For me personally, taking regular breaks from social media, such as Twitter or Instagram, has been really helpful in maintaining that balance. Whether that's deleting the apps for a few days, setting limits on how much time I spend scrolling, or just stepping away when I notice I'm starting to fall into the comparison trap. It all makes a big difference. It's like hitting a reset button, giving yourself time to reconnect with your real life, your goals, and the all things that matter outside of the digital world. Those breaks can help you refocus and remind yourself of what's genuinely fulfilling and important, rather than getting caught up in the constant noise of what people think or doing or posting. Plus, stepping away every now and then can help you cultivate a more mindful approach. When you do return to social media, allowing you to engage with it on your terms rather than deleting it dictates how you feel about yourself. What do you think, Iman?
I totally agree with you, Adam. It's also helpful to remember that your identity is not determined by how many likes or followers you have. At the end of the day, who you are offline matters so much more than your online presence. It's tempting to measure of value based on how many followers we have or how much engagement we get. However, these numbers are fleeting and external. They don't capture the depth of who we are as individuals. Our identity is built on our experience, values, relationships, and action in the real world, not on virtual approval. Reminding yourself of this helps to maintain a healthy perspective. Besides that, all offline connections hold more meanings for us. The relationship with nature offline, our close friends, family, and personal interaction are far more meaningful than any amount of online attention. Also, focus on authenticity over perfection. Social media often pressure us to present a flawless version of ourselves, but true confidence and identity come from embracing authenticity. When we focus more on being ourselves rather than curating an idealized persona for the sake of likes or followers, we develop a stronger sense of self. Being authentic does not always mean showing the perfect side of things. It means being real, even if that's not always Instagram worthy. Do you think so?
That is so true, Irman. I think a lot of it comes down to having a healthy balance. Social media, as we all know, can be a great tool for self-expression and connection, but can also become really toxic if you are not careful. It's all about being aware of how it affects you and setting boundaries so it does not take over your sense of self. Irman, like you just said, it is about reminding yourself that what you see online isn't the full picture and that your worth isn't tied to what other people see on the screen. Right, Irman?
Exactly, Adam. At the end of the day, we have to remember that social media is just one part of who we are, not the whole thing. It's important to use it in a way that uplifts you and helps you grow, rather than something that makes you feel worse about yourself. Do you want to add something else, Syahmi?
Yeah, I really comes down to balance. Social media has the power to shape our identity in so many ways, both positive and negative. On the one hand, it can connect us to communities, provide a platform for self-impression and other inspiration. But on the other hand, it can also imply insecurity, foster unhealthy comparison, and distort our sense of self. If we are not careful, that is why it's so important to stay mindful of how we are engaging with it. When we improve social media with intention and self-awareness, we can protect ourselves from falling into the more harmful aspect, like the constant comparison or the pressure to present a perfect image. By staying grounded in the reality and remembering that our self-worth is not tied to likes, followers, or how we stack up to others, we can start using social media in ways that are healthier and more empowering. It is all about maintaining that balance, finding a way to enjoy the good parts of social media without letting it negatively influence how we see yourself or our life. If we can stay aware of that, then we can use it as a tool for connection, learning, and creativity, rather than something that detracts from our well-being. What do you think, Adam?
Yes, I am completely agree with you, Syahmi. And I think both of you guys have been giving a really good point about this discussion. And I think we are approaching towards the end of our discussion. But before that, I would like to thank both of you guys for today's discussion. All in all, we need to use social media to express, and we don't need to use social media to impress. And again, I am Norman Adam bin HAFIZI.
My name is SAYYIDIL.
And I'm Muhammad Syahmi bin Ahmad.
That's all from us. Thank you for your attention and cooperation. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.